Have you ever had one of those scalps, the kind that's just constantly itchy, maybe a little inflamed, and it feels like absolutely nothing you try actually works? You buy all the special shampoos, the soothing oils, but the problem just keeps coming back. It is so frustrating. Well, the reason most of these products fail is pretty simple. They're targeting the wrong thing. So today we're going to dig into the real science behind that unscratchable itch.
And look, this isn't just some academic thing for me. I know this problem firsthand. There were times my own scalp was so irritated, I would literally scratch it raw, just desperate for some relief. It took me years of my own research and a lot of trial and error to finally figure out what was really going on. So believe me when I say, I get it.
Okay, so let's get right into it. Why are we all spending so much money on products that just don't give us a lasting solution? Well, the answer is that they're designed to treat the most obvious symptoms, like flakes or that feeling of dryness, but they completely ignore the hidden causes that are actually driving the whole problem. And get this, some of them can actually make things worse.
But here's the thing you have to get. Lasting scalp relief isn't about finding one single magic bullet. It's about understanding and then tackling three distinct, interconnected root causes. Once you see how they all work together, everything starts to click, and you can finally pick a strategy that actually works.
All right, so let's start by unmasking these three hidden culprits. We're going to break them down one by one, because if you miss even one of them, yeah, you might get some temporary relief, but that frustrating itch, it will almost always come back.
First up, we've got microbes, specifically a type of yeast called Malassezia. Now, don't freak out. This little guy lives on basically everyone's scalp. It's totally normal. The problem isn't that it's there. The problem is when it grows out of control. When there's too much of it, it starts feasting on your scalp's natural oils, your sebum. And as a byproduct, it creates stuff that is super irritating and inflammatory to your skin.
And here's a fact that blows most people's minds. You might be thinking, well, I don't have dandruff, so microbes can't be my problem. But the inflammation and the itching from their activity, that starts in just 3 days. But the visible flakes, they might not show up for another 3 weeks. That huge time gap is a major reason why so many of us misdiagnose our own itch.
Next up is a concept that skincare nerds are going to recognize: a damaged barrier. It's so easy to forget, but your scalp, it's just skin, right? It just happens to have a ton of hair growing out of it. And just like the skin on your face, if you blast it with harsh shampoos, super hot water, or aggressive styling, you can totally strip its protective barrier. This creates these tiny, microscopic cracks, which lets all the good stuff, like water, leak out, and lets all the bad stuff, like irritants, get in. And this brings us to culprit number 3, which... Okay, this is a bit of a chemist insider tip for you: hidden allergens. An allergy is really just your immune system overreacting to something that's totally harmless for most people. And it turns out some of the most common ingredients in products you wash off, like shampoo, can be massive triggers for an unlucky few.
So let's name names, shall we? The two biggest offenders are a pair of preservatives that have been nicknamed the itchy M's. They are methyl-isothiazolonone and methylchloroisothiazolonone. Yeah, it's a mouthful. Let's just call them MI and MCI. They got really popular as replacements for parabens, but it turns out a lot of people have developed allergies to them.
And this isn't some small, minor issue. I'm not being dramatic here. When researchers really looked into it, the rise in allergies to these ingredients was so huge, so fast, that they actually used the word epidemic in over 20 separate scientific papers. That is incredibly strong language for scientists to use. It just goes to show how widespread this problem became, with people unknowingly making their scalps itchier with the very products they thought would help.
So, we have our 3 culprits: microbes, a damaged barrier, and potential allergens. But the key, the real aha moment, is that they don't work alone. They team up to create a vicious cycle that can trap you in itchiness for years. Understanding this cycle is everything.
Okay, so you feel that tight, itchy, uncomfortable sensation on your head. What's the first thing you think? Oh, my scalp is so dry. It's a totally logical conclusion, right? But more often than not, what's really happening is a 1-2 punch of that Malassezia microbe overgrowth, which is then damaging your skin barrier, which creates that feeling of dryness. And this misunderstanding, this is what fuels the entire cycle. And this right here perfectly illustrates the trap. Okay, follow me on this. Step 1. The microbes overgrow and create irritants, making you itch. Step 2, you think, my scalp is dry, so you do something that sounds smart, like putting a nice plant oil on it, or maybe washing your hair less often. But step 3, you've just given those microbes their absolute favorite food. So step 4, they have a party, multiply like crazy, and produce even more irritants, damaging your scalp barrier even more. Which brings you right to step 5. Your scalp feels even itchier and even drier than when you started. You see the loop? You're literally feeding the problem while trying to solve it. So how in the world do we break out of this? You need the right tools for the right job. It's not about just slopping on something to soothe the itch for an hour. It's about systematically taking apart that cycle by targeting the microbes and repairing the barrier. So let's look at the specific science-backed ingredients that actually get this done. Here are the 4 heavy hitters, the MVPs for controlling Malassezia. You've got selenium sulfide, super effective, but it can have that distinct sulfur smell. Then there's zinc pyrithione, the classic. It works, but some people find it feels a little gritty. Now, pyric-tone-olamine is fantastic. It's soluble, it has no smell, so the shampoo just feels like a normal, elegant shampoo. And finally, you have ketoconazole, which is a really potent option you'll find in more medicated treatments. The key is to flip over your bottle and find one of these on the ingredient list. But remember, just fighting the microbes is only half the battle. You also have to show your scalp barrier some love and help it heal. This means using a gentle shampoo that has a skin-friendly pH. It also means keeping your conditioner on your hair, not on your scalp where it can cause buildup and irritation. Looking for serums with antioxidants is a great move to protect the skin. And hey, if you live in a place with hard water, a shower filter can be a total game changer. All right, I know, that was a ton of science. So let's boil it all down into a super simple, practical guide. This is it, your new scalp care routine broken down into clear do's and don'ts. First up, the do's. This is your new game plan. 1, when you shampoo, really massage it into your scalp, not just your hair. That's where the action is happening. 2, follow the directions. I know, but listen, some of these shampoos need to be rinsed to work. Leaving them on longer doesn't help, it just dries you out. 3, shampoo regularly. You gotta remove the oils that are feeding the microbes. And 4, gently dry your roots after your wash. Don't let your head stay a damp, swampy paradise for yeast.
And now, just as important, here's what to avoid. Number 1, and this is the big one, please stop applying plant oils directly to your scalp. Remember that vicious cycle? You're just throwing fuel on the fire. 2, don't let dry shampoo become a replacement for actually washing your hair. 3, be really careful with harsh scalp scrubs. They can tear up your fragile barrier. And 4, after a workout, wash your hair. Don't let all that sweat and oil just sit there. So ultimately, this whole entire explainer, all this science, it really comes down to this one simple question. What's actually hiding in your shampoo? Now you have the framework. Now you can go pick up your bottle, not with confusion, but with a clear understanding of whether that product is helping you break the cycle or just keeping you trapped inside it.
And of course, there's always more to learn. If you want to keep going, just check out our next